Hey, what's going on, overclockers? Blue Devil with overclock.net. Today we're going to take a look at the EK Waterblocks A240G water cooling kit. Now, the thought of overclocking has always been a expensive endeavor, and the thought of AIOs taking the place of water cooling, or someone thinking that they're water cooling when they have an AIO or CLC, whatever you want to call it, realistically isn't really true water cooling. So a lot of the manufacturers, EK Waterblock, SwiftTech, and a couple other ones have bring out expandable water cooling kits to the market for a few years now. So, but cost has just generally been a general issue with a lot of consumers. So this is actually EK's third or fourth take on bringing box kits to the masses. So their first little kit was the LS series, where it was basically an all-in-one box. You basically put together much like the A240G kit here, but it was mostly only CPU only. And then they dabbled into the EK Predator line, which ultimately got discontinued due to manufacturing issues, and then now they're dabbling in the Fluid Gaming line. So it's going to be interesting. This whole set actually is made all from aluminum. Yep, you heard me, all aluminum. So quite impressive. It includes two 1850 RPM EK Vardar fans, a GPU water block that actually works with the GTX 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti, and Titan X. So this thought process basically means that they've milled out all the extra stuff that they don't need, so for cross compatibility between those four different graphics cards while still maintaining costs and everything else. So that's pretty cool. It also includes a backplate, a pump with a reservoir. It's not a huge reservoir, and then a all aluminum CPU block. But so by creating an all aluminum water loop, you're creating less chance of galvanic corrosion. That's basically done when you combine nickel and copper and brass and aluminum all together, and then you'll have other inhibitors that actually that are taking place with algae growth. So included in the box as well too should be a 100 milliliter bottle of Cairo fuel. So that's going to be the clear variant, and you mix that with 900 milliliters of distilled water. A 1 liter bottle of pop works really well too. Just empty it out, make sure it's clean. Alright, so let's get to this. Test system's going to include a 6700K on a EVGA Z170 classified motherboard, as well as an EVGA GTX 1080 GPU. So that should fit nicely with this build, and we're going to see how that 240mm radiator works out with those two components. I also will be doing overclocking. The reason why an enthusiast would get into this type of kit is so that it can expand it later, and also expecting a little bit better performance at the same time. So I don't understand why you wouldn't be doing any overclocking without water cooling, or if you got a water cooling kit. So not overclocking is kind of foolish to do if you have spent the money on this kit already. So we're going to be overclocking the 6700K. The highest stable overclock I've gotten was 4.7 gigahertz, possibly 4.8. That was on custom water cooling with a couple of radiators, so I'm not expecting that high, but 4.6 should be definitely attainable. And then the GPU, the highest I got it was 2100 megahertz, so pretty high. That GPU should be in the top 80s. 80C-ish, give or take, might thermal throttle on the stock heatsink fan, so hopefully this aluminum water block will do a little bit better job than the stock. Alright, quick rundown of the parts that are actually included inside of this box. So like I said before, you get two EK Vardar 1850 RPM fans. You also get the pump and reservoir combo, which is the EK-ACR SPC-60 12-volt DC PWM pump and reservoir. You get the CPU water block, which is the EK Supreme AX version. And then as far as the GPU water block, you do get the EK-AC GeForce GTX Pascal. So that should fit, like I said before, the full Pascal line sans the GTX 1060. I'll clarify in an annotation below or above to see if they have expanded that compatibility. I don't see why they wouldn't expand to the GTX 1060 because they do run the Pascal chips. So another cool thing is about this kit is that they are actually going to be offering some other kits here. What I'd like to see right away is I would want to see a 360mm radiator version of this, as well as a Vega GPU block for this as well too. I think the GeForce was just out there. They had the designs already, so that's probably why they came out with it first. But I do think a 360mm block is kind of needed, especially if you're overclocking. I think the whole thought process with aluminum is that it's a softer metal than the rest of them. So, all right, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and get this unboxed. Let's go ahead and you're gonna come along with me and see what's in the box. All right, right on side of the box here, you do see the Fluid Gaming picture here. Smooth and stutter-free gaming is what makes gaming truly enjoyable. Now you can enjoy high FPS and low temperatures in silence. The best gaming is Fluid Gaming. So a little bit of marketing right there. You do get a little glimpse of the GPU water block there, which is actually pretty cool. It looks more like the Acetal that they have been running in the past few years, but I imagine this is to keep the costs down as well too, trying to achieve that sub $250 price point. So then you get a nice little view of the EK Supremacy AC water block with some of the fittings, an overall performance on demand picture as well too, and then it's future proof, again reassuring you that it is expandable. So I like to see that. So just some other stuff around here that we've already covered already, so let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. Alright, we are greeted with the EK Vardar fans. So, like I said before, these are the 1850 RPM variant, high static pressure, 120mm fan. They're nice fans. Push-pull configuration. Underneath this, you do get the radiator. And that is light. So the radiator is very light. Quick little note, most of your CLC AIOs are actually aluminum by Asetek. So all the ones that you've been getting that, you know, the water cooling haters, hey, you're gonna, you know, screw up your loop and because you have aluminum, hey, guess what? They've been running aluminum this whole time anyway. So that's kind of a moot point, but radiator screws in there, that's kind of nice to see. Over here. Everything from EK Waterblocks is so nicely packaged. Alright, this is, I'm assuming, the pump reservoir. That's the pump stand. Nice tool in there. Does come with the EK Supremacy upgraded mounting brackets, which was nice to see. And then some more screws. You get your 3/8 tubing here, so it's decent length on it, enough to do maybe 2 custom loops, but I'd say it's about 75 inches worth of tubing. You do get a PWM 4-pin to 3. That's kind of confusing. Maybe they're going to think you're going to power the pump off one of these. As far as the 2 EK Vardar fans, and then you get the pump, which is also a PWM. So I'm guessing that's the thought process on that, is the 2 fans and the pump off of one single 4-pin header. As far as right here, you can see, wow, that is so light. The pre-installed aluminum fittings on it, they are, wow, they are so light. It almost almost doesn't even feel real. The block going on right here, it's a nice milled finish, so Pretty nice. Nice and lightweight. And then you get the pump res combo. Not a very big pump or res. It's a, I wouldn't say it's a DDC, but more or less it'll probably get the job done. I'm kind of curious to see if the internal impeller is steel or aluminum. I'm assuming it's aluminum. Everything else in this build is aluminum. Nice res. Followed by a PWM header. Not very long. It's black. It's not sleeved, but it still is black, so it kind of hides in your build there. And then on the side, you get your mounting brackets for AMD Ryzen or Intel. SATA to 3-pin adapter. A PSU jumper. It's nice when you're actually filling your loop, so you don't actually have to hot wire it. They've already done the hot wiring for you. Some of the EVGA power supplies come with an actual plug-in for this that doesn't actually have the loop in there. It's actually done internally, so it makes it for a little cleaner. It doesn't fall out, but this gets the job done. This is an extension cable for your PWM in case you don't have enough length inside your case. Everybody needs more length, right? You get a 100 milliliter bottle of EK Cryo Fuel. So this is the clear variant. I haven't seen any communication as far as like throwing dyes in here at all. Being such a new product, I don't think I would recommend putting in any sort of dyes right off the bat. You get some EK Tim Ectotherm, so decent stuff there. I actually get 2 of them, which is pretty cool. I assume one for the GPU, one for the CPU. So, and then I'm assuming these are more fittings for your radiator and GPU block. All right, we'll move over to the GPU block. Look at that, more Tim. You get some mounting screws there. Thermal pads for your block. Instructions. Don't forget other EK products for your liquid cooling system, of course. EK's cooling configurator, which is pretty cool. Right off the bat, you do see the back plate, which I think is metal, which is pretty cool. And then you do get 2 more fittings. Oh, those fittings from earlier was for the radiator. Now you got 2 more fittings for your water block. So that water block, again, is really, really, really light. It's crazy to think that something like this could be so light. But aluminum by itself is just so light. That's actually pretty good quality. I really do like the design of that pretty well. Caution, to be used with other aluminum parts only. Do not mix copper brass based liquid cooling products. So again, there's a nice little warning. Got EK's new top design here, which is actually pretty cool. I kind of like that actually. And it's not the acetal like I thought. If you look right in there, it's actually just a metal plate that goes all the way through, kind of like a heatsink in itself. So it's pretty cool actually. Actually wouldn't mind seeing the rest of the lineup from EK Water Blocks be like this as well too. It's pretty cool. Alright, well, I guess what's left is going to be installing this in the Intel Z170 classified build with the GTX 1080 and the 6700K. So, let's get to building. Alright guys, so here we are. The build's done. It's
been done for a couple days here, and it is great. Cools really, really effectively well. Found out clarification that the GTX 1060 reference model is supported, as well as this 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti, and Titan X Pascal reference need apply. Everything else, you're going to have to get your own custom water block for, but they do not make a aluminum water block for any other GPUs now. So keep your eyes peeled for those if that's what you want. But basically order merit, CPU to GPU, GPU to radiator, radiator to pump res combo, and then back to the CPU again. So pretty easy install. I've done a lot of water cooling installs before, so I'm not really too concerned about the order. I guess I could have flipped the reservoir and the radiator around, but this just looked cleaner for tubing. So that's what basically I did, and I stuck with it. So in terms of cooling, I've been running this for about just shy of an hour now. CPU temps were the highest actually at 61 degrees. CPU package temps around 50 degrees, so high point is 61. GPU maxed out at 44 degrees with 120% rocked out on the EVGA Precision X. 1898 was the frequency it was running at most of the time. It did peak out at 1911, but basically leveled back down to 1898, so I'm happy with that. Voltage is stressed out. 1.325 volt is what I was running on the 6700K. So not too high a crazy voltage, running a 4.7 gigahertz overclock. So not too crazy, but it definitely works. It's a very nice liquid cooler. It's great if you need to not have to worry about what's actually included. Everything's included down to the fittings, the adapters. You get everything inside the box. So if you don't want to worry about if you're missing something and have to put another order in, box kits may be for you. So out of 5 flames, I'm going to give it 4.5 flames. I really wish there was a 360mm option, but there is one coming out shortly that you can expand your loop upon. So I give EK props for that. So awesome product. Awesome. Alright, so what's coming up with the channel is going to be the Enermax Neochanger 300ml pump res combo and Sapphire's RX 550 Pulse Edition. That's a cool little small form factor GPU, as well as Gigabyte's RX 560 Gaming OC 2GB edition. So these GPUs are more mainly aimed towards the esports gamer, so Overwatch or CSGO. Other esports, maybe Rocket League would be great. So it's not really, you're not really going to be pushing like a Quad HD or a 4K display to, so something that you don't really want to spend a whole lot of money on, but still get decent frame rates. So that's what's coming up on the Overclock.net's channel. So go ahead and give us a like, a subscribe, share this on your social media. That'd be much appreciated. So other than that, I'm Blue Devil with Overclock.net. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys later.